Alright, so this is example page 148, number 6. And notice that I have the diagram over here with the tree. And what we're trying to do is find the height of the tree. It wants us to find the height. All we're given is the length of this side down here is 7. So that 7 is the length of the bottom side of this triangle right here. We're going to use the sine law for this, but before we use the sine law, there's a few things we need to have. The first thing we need to have is this bottom angle down here, where I'm labeling it x. Because once I have that bottom angle down there, it will help me find this top angle, which we'll call y. So first I'm going to find x down to the bottom. In order to do that, we have to remember that in a triangle, and this triangle happens to be a right angle triangle, since the height touches the horizontal at 90 degrees, and this angle in here is the same as this angle down here, which is going to be 15 degrees. So that angle right in there is 15 degrees. So how do I find all the angles? What do they add up to? They add up to 180. So I have 180 degrees. I subtract off my 15, and I subtract off my 90 degrees, which leaves me with 75 degrees. And that's my value for angle x. Once I have angle x, that's going to help me find angle y. So for angle y, what I do is I start with 180 again, because that's all my angles add up to 180. I subtract off 57 this time because I'm using the entire angle. And then I subtract off my value for x, which I just found, which is 75 degrees. And that leaves me with 48 degrees. And that is my value for y, angle y. So now that I have my angle y, I can finally use the sine law. I can use the sine law to solve for this unknown height, which we're going to call h. h is the height of the tree, which goes right from the bottom to the top. And the way I set this up is I use the sine law. I say that the sine of my top angle, y, which was 48, divided by the length of the side across from it, which is 7, is equal to the sine of 57 degrees, because I want the height, which is right across from 57. So I put the h on the bottom. The next thing I can do is if I solve this left side over here, I actually get 0.106. If you work this out on your calculator, you get 0.106. That's actually equal to sine 57 over h. And the way that I kind of do these things usually is I just say, okay, if the h is on the bottom, I switch these two places. So now my height is equal to sine of 57 degrees divided by 0.106, which ends up being 7.9 meters tall for the tree. So that's how you solve for the height of the tree using the sine law.